The last video gave an introduction to special events, which is a term we use to describe any non-routine occurrence such as a vacation, the end-of-year holidays, family events like birthdays and weddings, remodeling and moving, having dinner guests, or even for some people with severe CFS or fibro, leaving the house for a doctor's appointment or a meal at a restaurant. Special events are very common and can easily lead to relapses because it's easy to go outside your limits and trigger the intensification of symptoms called post-exertional malaise, often known by its initials, PEM or PEM. And we have a whole video on that if you're interested. The key fact about PEM is that it's out of proportion to the overdoing. This video focuses on 3 strategies you can use to enjoy a special event while minimizing the cost. The first, right here, is to take extra rest. If you've experienced post-exertional malaise, you're probably familiar with one use for rest, and that is to recover from relapses. But there's another way that you can use rest, and that is to prevent problems. Taking planned rest before symptoms increase can help you avoid relapses. We call this practice preemptive rest, and we recommend that you do it on a daily basis. We have a video on that too. For the majority of people, the most effective form of rest is lying down with eyes closed in a quiet place. But taking a break to recharge your batteries is the main idea, whatever form that takes for you. Preemptive rest is described in detail, as I said, in another video, but here I'd like to talk about how to apply it with special events. We recommend that you take extra rest more than you normally would before, during, and after the event. Let me write that on the slide. Before, during, and after the event. Store up energy by taking extra rest before the event, limit your symptoms by taking extra rest during, and take whatever extra rest is needed afterwards. For example, if you are going on a vacation, you might double your normal daily rest time for a week before leaving, spend more than your usual amounts of time resting while on vacation, adjusting the amount upward if you're feeling particularly symptomatic, and not scheduling any big events for the first week or so after the trip, but instead taking extra rest. The second strategy is to plan the special event in detail. If you're traveling, this may include thinking through the activities you will do on each day of the trip, including alternative activities you can do if your energy level is not what you expect. Depending on the severity of your condition, you might also arrange for a wheelchair or motorized cart in airports or when visiting places like museums. If you're going to a family event, planning might mean finding out the schedule ahead of time and deciding how much you will participate. If your special event is the end-of-year holidays, you might plan in 5 steps, which I'd like to discuss in detail. First, make a list. List everything special you would like to do between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Shopping, decorating, cooking, baking, writing and mailing cards, attending parties and services, entertaining, whatever. For each item, include an estimate of the time it will take. For example, you might estimate that it will take 10 hours to send out holiday cards, including buying the cards, buying the stamps, writing notes in some of the cards or all the cards, stamping and addressing the envelopes, and mailing. Break each task into subtasks that can help you be more accurate in terms of your time estimates, and also suggest a strategy for minimizing the possibility that an activity will cause a relapse, and that is to divide the job into a series of small steps. Second element is to prioritize. Once you have the list, prioritize the items from those that are most important to you to those that are least important. You can use numbers, say 1 to 5, or letters like A, B, and C. Third, define your limits. So that's 3, define limits. Let me put a space in there. To help you decide how much of your list is reasonable and doable, determine how active you can be without intensifying your symptoms. For example, if your limit is 3 hours a day, that's about 20 hours a week. And if you want to use a quarter of your time on holiday activities during that 6-week period, that would mean about 5 hours a week. Fourth, you adapt your list to your limits. So fourth, adapt list. If your wish list is beyond your limits, reduce it using a combination of delegating, substituting, simplifying, and eliminating. So I'll just abbreviate that as delegating, etc. Delegating means finding someone else to do a task. For example, a spouse, child, or friend might do some of the shopping. The family could put up decorations while you supervise. Or you can organize holiday meals in different ways, for example, by having someone else prepare them, having a potluck, or going out to eat. Substituting can involve dropping one activity for every activity added. For example, if you can get out of the house 3 times a week, you may be able to do a holiday-related activity if you postpone something else. We sometimes call this strategy pigs at a trough. There's limited space at a trough. The only way for a new pig to get in is by forcing another pig out. Simplifying means continuing to do something, but in a less elaborate way. For example, having less complicated meals, or overlapping with what I'm just about to say, defining your holidays as involving fewer events. And the last strategy for adaptation is eliminating, which means not doing something. If the time needed to do all the items on your list is greater than your envelope, greater than your limits, this strategy will be a central part of your planning. And then lastly, fifth, we have something I call Plan B. Think about how you will handle a relapse if you experience one partway through the holidays. The two most commonly used strategies are increased rest and dropping some activities. So that's it for step 2, detailed planning, with the example of holidays. The third strategy for special events is discussion. Third strategy is to talk about your limits with other people involved in the event so that they know what to expect from you. That's what I've labeled as discussion. You might also alert them to the possibility that you may need to cancel out of some events and encourage them to do things without you at times when you need to take extra rest. Also, you can elicit their help, as described earlier in the discussion of delegating tasks for the holiday period. This last strategy can involve educating others about CFS and fibro, a task that can take some time. So let me add as a subpoint here, education. Some people have success sharing information about CFS and fibro with their family and friends. Others tell us that they have concluded that it's necessary to give people frequent reminders about their limits. Final point under discussion is assertiveness. Assertiveness. Learning assertiveness is sometimes crucial to getting other people to understand. One person in our program told us for a long time she told her family that she had a serious illness, but she always said yes to their requests. She told us they didn't start to honor my limits until I put limits on what I would do for them. So there you have it, 3 strategies for success with special events: taking extra rest, detailed planning, and discussion. For an example of how someone used these 3 strategies to avoid relapses triggered by house guests, see the video titled Relapse Success House Guests in the Relapse video series.